talk that truth, baby. Mouthy's in the room, Miss Mouthy's fire. Mr. Mouthy's crew, unfiltered love, boundaries and doom. R&B vibes, let the healing resume. Every medicine is
Hey y'all, it's your girl Miss Mouthy. Even when you what? Don't see me, you hear me.
And it's your boy, Mr. Mouthy. And even when you what? Don't hear me, you definitely see me, baby. Hey.
Hey, and so we are getting into season 2.
Season 2. Hey.
Hey,
Season 2. Hey.
Okay. All right. And so let's get into this episode. It is called Respect the Line or Get Left Behind.
Don't get left behind.
Oh, and so it is really clear in season 2. I'm excited that we've been able to start this. And I want to be more intentional about the things that we put out into the universe. And so with this episode, I think it's important to let people know who we are and reintroduce ourselves and what we all about at the Mouthies.
Yeah, well, this season is all about killing our dead selves,
Mhm.
and coming into our full selves with letting go of that trauma and healing through love.
Yeah. And so if you don't know, welcome to the Mouthies. You welcome to the Mouthy podcast where we discuss love, relationships, and all healings in between.
In between.
Yes. And so this episode, we wanted to give you a brief reminder of some of the things we already discussed, right? So we talked about at one point how our love story began. We actually talked a lot about the male and female perspective while being in T for T relationships.
Very important.
What were some things you recall about last season?
Ooh, we talked about sex. You know what I'm saying?
Did talk about sex.
Yeah, part 2 coming in season 2. So y'all stay tuned.
Yeah, some more in depth, a little bit more steamier. Yeah.
You know how it go. And yeah, just showing our love story and showing that love actually does exist. And as long as you put in the work in, it's gonna work out in the end.
And all the other couples that we've been able to interact with during this whole process have been really important. And so today's topic is going to be about boundaries and schemas.
Ooh, boundaries and schemas. Yeah, a lot of times y'all be talking about respect my boundaries, but y'all didn't know what a boundary is. So baby, please explain. Oh, you want me? I can explain it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so pretty much a boundary is a personal limit that communicates what is okay and what is not okay, right? And so it protects our emotional, mental, physical, and our spiritual well-being.
Yeah, and when you're in a relationship with someone, it's very important in any relationship of all forms. It's important to have boundaries so that way people can understand your limitations, what you will and won't go for, how it is that you want to be respected and show up in space or in community or in love.
Yeah.
Those things are important. So boundaries have been something that is like a blueprint for me.
Yes, and for me, I didn't have any boundaries. I was just running wild like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yeah,
like,
no, for real.
I'm just here. And so this relationship is that's what it is.
Yes. Okay. But you here now.
I'm here now. I'm
Yeah.
here now, and I'm healing through it. And I appreciate the love and the support you've always instilled in me. And so, yeah, I'm here, a brand new man, trying to get rid of that dead self and come as I am now.
Period. So schemas is more so those negative thought beliefs that we have about ourselves, the things that we either been taught or told or just have this sense of telling ourselves. And it's been very interesting to learn about my own personal schemas and your schemas.
Absolutely.
And in the concept of schemas, you don't even realize how often you pick up or you associate your life with these things, and then we go into the relationship bringing these schemas right along with us. So anything you want to add to schemas?
No, I'm learning about mine as well. We are definitely in couples counseling, so I recommend all the couples committed in relationship,
marriage, and
married,
fucking
all the things, right? If it's somebody you care about, you sharing space with, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy, because that's how we're learning about ourselves, so we can come full force for each other.
Yeah. And so going back to boundaries, the different boundary types that you have, right? Like you have emotional boundaries, the ones that like play out someone's emotions. So the things that arrive and you like, that don't really feel so good. And then we think about boundaries when it comes to our time. How much time are we spending or allowing something to take so much time? And that's in anything. When you wrap that energy and you solely focus on this one particular or aspect of thing, that you got to set a boundary there.
Absolutely.
Or when your friends is always calling you to come outside, you can't focus on your goals because you always outside with your friends.
Right.
Digital boundaries. It's okay that not even what you put out there, but it's like what you digest and like what people perceive of you or what they want you to do. Like so many people, one of the boundaries that it has is like when they expect so many episodes of Miss Mouthy, and it's like, bitch, you really ain't even went back yet. You ain't even watched the first season. So I'm 6 seasons in, honey. Go.
Congratulations on that. Let's take a pause. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you, babe.
6 seasons. Okay.
But you know, those type of things, or the boundaries that I don't want to get caught up in somebody else's drama. So I'm gonna not comment on something or put myself in that place.
Right.
And then, you know, just with our energy, what are you really pouring into? And you could be so depleted if you don't have boundaries and you're giving your energy to all these different people, expectations, careers, just all the things, being parents, like all of these things. You can have boundaries with how you spend your energy.
Absolutely.
Okay, so babe, what is a story that you could share with us about boundaries and your insight on it?
Ooh, you know, I got a lot of these stories. One of the boundaries that I struggled with in my past was learning how to tell a motherfucker no. You know, I would tack on all of these different tasks.
Yeah.
And thought that by being overproductive, that meant that I was perfect. That meant that I was being showing myself in a greater light.
Yeah.
But in turn, it was just like, you depleted.
Yeah.
You know, you have nowhere to go. And at the end of the day, the people who I was helping, they didn't care nothing about it. They just wanted me to produce the results and didn't care anything about my mental health.
Yeah.
And so once I started to say, you know what, who am I? And I could notice that through self-awareness, I'm neglecting myself. And once I started caring about myself more, I figured that I have to set this boundary. So I started to learn how to say no.
Yeah. I resonate with that a whole lot. Before coming into this relationship and while building out this platform, it was so many times that I felt like I had to. And a lot of it was this guilt I had around people giving me opportunity, but not really understanding that when you create the opportunity, you put yourself in positions, right?
Ding.
Yeah. You put yourself in positions because it's no different than when you go to apply for a job and they look at your resume. The things that you put on that paper, you're capable of. You're marketing yourself. And so you shouldn't have to feel the need to intentionally over approve or overachieve in a ways that like you've arrived in your moment.
Absolutely.
You deserve to be here. So those boundaries started being like, no, don't call me after 5 o'clock.
Come on, talk about it.
Yeah, don't call me after 5 o'clock. And no, I will not be working weekends. And those type of things, people start to be like, wait, what? You don't, is it in my contract?
Right. And it's all about self-respect as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. And so that has been interesting. So
what boundaries have you seen me improve upon or set within our relationship?
Okay. Yeah, boom. You know, I think it's just you finding your voice and being able to say what you need has been one. And like I'll say it because you know, I can be annoying and my language is to be I think I'm being flirtatious, but to someone who might be agitated or there's just a lot to be in their face or in their personal space, it's okay for you to say, dang, can you move?
Oh.
Well, maybe not like in that word.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about what happened last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I didn't take it no way. Maybe not how I could have. Maybe it's going through therapy or whatever it is,
Mm.
or maybe just the state of where our relationship is. But I didn't take nothing from it because I know you don't like that. But that's my way of just like being, I don't know, funny
Right.
or yeah.
And I
And so,
received it, but I took that opportunity to voice how I really felt in that
yeah,
moment, right? As opposed to before, I would just let you annoy me, be on my face, not really say anything, hold it in.
yeah,
And I felt liberated in that moment. And I also came back to check on you when you
yeah,
walked away. I came to the room and I said, "Hey, babe, I laid it out. This is what happened. Do you feel some type of way?" You said you was good with it, and that made me feel good about
yeah. And
how I
that's where
moved.
you know where to draw the line at, and
Mhm.
like you give a person an opportunity to respect that.
Yeah,
Um, and I seen you was already focused and into whatever you were doing. Um, so yeah, and for me, sometimes in moments it could be a temperature check. So
check that
you know,
temperature.
yeah, it's like okay, I'm just doing this to make sure we good.
Yeah,
Um, but now you get to see that she wasn't harboring any feelings, or you could tell me these things and it won't be the end of the world.
right.
Uh, with setting a boundary.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so we talked about boundaries, but before we go to the next segment, I got some love to show. All right.
The Mouthies, and we are loud in our skin with game changing men.
All right, y'all. Let's get into schemas, right? So pretty much schemas are core beliefs or mental frameworks that shaped by your early experiences, right? So the things that your parents may have instilled in you and taught you that you hold with you to this day that may not be the accurate things to think about yourself. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So it come from your childhood messaging, it come from your trauma, it come from your family patterns, and just basically your repeated experiences. So while we were in therapy, we learned about our own personal schemas.
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell our audience about what you discovered?
Yeah. So one of the things we had to kind of like it would resemble an IQ test.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so you fill out all these questions, and at the end of it, you see where you score and you land. And so one of the things that ranked high on my results was that I have social isolation, and that makes so much sense with how I navigate the world, how I grew up. I've always felt it's never been because I was timid growing up. It was just that the world didn't have a space for me, and vocabulary and language didn't exist when I was growing up in a time where people like me just had no space, and
Mhm.
we didn't grow up. So oftentimes I felt isolated, or I had to shrink myself because I wasn't understood. There wasn't space for me. It wasn't no visibility. Um, so I rank really high on social isolation.
Right, right. And for me, when I took the couple schema questionnaire, my top two were unrelenting standards and self-sacrifice.
Yeah, and we both shared self-sacrifice.
Self-sacrifice. Yep.
So,
Yep.
that is when you are okay with putting other people before yourself and really feeling depleted. And that is why boundaries is going to be so important
Absolutely.
if you score high on that test.
But
Yeah.
also it allows us to see that our schemas shape our boundaries. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, because of our schemas, we don't know how to set those boundaries because we got to
Mm-hmm.
get our schemas under control. And so a lot of those schemas look like abandonment,
Mm-hmm.
mistrust, dependence,
Mm-hmm.
shame. That was one of mine. Shame.
Yeah.
To feel like you defective, something is wrong with you.
Yeah. Hyper independence, not
Yeah.
wanting to rely on anybody, or the feeling of nobody's going to help you anyway. So I got to do it myself.
Mhm.
Were you surprised by your results when they came through?
Not totally surprised,
Mhm.
but it was definitely a learning experience for me. I didn't know that I would score so high on certain things. I knew that I grew up with this perfectionist shadow,
Yeah.
but I didn't understand how uh, not being able to create boundaries was a result of my schemas.
Yeah. What I appreciated is that it actually was something, because you can talk all the day as long, but when you got that proof and them numbers, I
Absolutely.
didn't even know there will be a
Facts.
tool to be able to, yeah, call out what it is that you be living and experiencing while growing up and bringing into your adulthood. So it was good to be able to resonate when people just be like, oh, she standoffish, oh, she this, she that. And it's like, no, this has been a thing because
Right.
oftentimes I put myself in spaces, but the isolation comes when people try and humble you, or
Mhm.
when you're always made out to be a problem, or your personality is so much that people around you is like, can you really?
Can you dumb that
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because even getting in trouble with talking a lot as a
True.
kid, or always feeling the need to want to have dialogue, it's like, well, now it's not the time to talk. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, bitch, don't come to me with your problem when it
Right.
is time.
Right. And then you feel shut down. You feel like
Mm-hmm.
you can't speak, and I think that comes um to show us and make us feel that we're not enough,
Mm-hmm.
and that our voice is not heard.
Yeah.
So it's very important, y'all, to make sure y'all do your own research on your schemas so you can really get the foundation of who you are. So you can go ahead and kill your dead self and live as your authentic self.
Yeah. And let's touch a little bit more about killing your old self
Hmm.
and why that's so important. Um, I think in any form of trying to elevate and become more than what you have been, there are going to be parts of yourself that you're going to have to leave behind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Let
and
it go.
oftentimes I'll use myself for example. It be parts of yourself that you're unwilling to let go. You don't want to.
Mm,
You ask
mm,
yourself why.
mm.
Okay, why?
Yeah.
Why do I have? Why for what? Bitch, I'm perfectly fine,
Right.
right? Well, then, if you're perfectly fine, you're gonna stay exactly where you're at.
Exactly.
Um, and understanding that in that evolution of letting it go, you still gonna be fine.
Hmm.
The best version of yourself is a part of making room for what's to come.
Right. And you got to be okay with being uncomfortable. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot grow in comfortability.
Because then you become complacent.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So we are going to take another break to get into our next sponsors. Book is an entail of a New York City tale of a young individual going through life and figuring out who they are with a hint of hood love story, as you will say. I really enjoy reading this book. It has so many personal insights, but also a declaration for trans folks to be able to voice their independence and coming into their own. If you would like a good read for this season or just what's to come, I think you should really check it out. You can find it on Amazon and all the other platforms. You can click here, this link in the description, and you can be able to purchase it today because it's given by none other than Seven King. Go check it out. And while you at it, go purchase 1 and 2 for your friend for the holiday season. So welcome back, you all. We left y'all off at schemas and boundaries. But what happened when those two things collide?
Mm,
It is so
mm.
important that one, I used to know boundaries really well, but never knew schemas. And without that component,
Oof.
I didn't even understand why I kept having this reoccurring thought of, okay, I set the boundary, but why do I feel this way to have to set a boundary?
Right.
That's where the schema was able to identify, okay, this has been with me for this long. All of these experiences have shaped exactly why I feel like I have to place a boundary here
Mm,
to keep me safe. Because when it don't feel good. And I
no.
be in relations to people who may not necessarily care about my boundary.
Right. Right.
One of the things that I've learned is boundary create the emotional reactions that is rooted in the past experience, like I was saying. And the schemas, they influence how rigid or loose or unclear the boundary become. And so what I oftentimes had to practice was that I would set a boundary
Mm.
and then I would go back on that boundary.
Ah.
I wouldn't
Okay.
enforce it, or you set the boundary, but you haven't thought about the consequence that may come if that boundary is uh stepped over. So
Right.
let me give you an
Or
example.
before you
Go
go,
ahead.
not even knowing how to set a boundary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's about educating yourself and learning how to communicate and stand up for yourself. But go ahead, baby.
Yeah. And believing that if you set the, so this was my tricky thing about boundary. I was afraid that if I set this boundary with this person, I would lose them
Mm.
because I have fear of abandonment,
Right.
right? Like when people you love show they displeased or dismay with you after having to say no, right? I'll give you one in my childhood when everybody in your family is constantly asking you for money.
Ooh, that's
Okay,
yeah,
because you working
yeah.
your first little job
Right,
and you
right.
like, okay. Uh, and they know you get paid on Friday
Mm.
and they know you're sweet and giving. And they never really asked you before because you've never been in this position.
Right.
And so you can say the first time, okay. Then the second time, they still haven't paid you back, but you just like, okay, this is my family member. They remember. And then they dupe you with the, I got you, I got you. I'm gonna pay you
Mm.
double, or I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I got you. I ain't forgot. I hate
And
bitch,
you
don't remind.
know, and you know they
Yeah,
lying.
don't remind me that you know you owe me and ain't paid me the first time, but here you is the second time wanting another loan.
Yeah.
So in that, it's just like, okay, and then finally when you say no and you don't care and they beg and please, 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 please,
Hmm.
it's like, no,
Right.
you feel that guilt and you feel that shame, but that boundary have to stay there
Right. Right.
because you are teaching them at this point, you haven't paid me.
Right.
I told you what the consequence was, and there's no more.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
And for me, um, I used to feel like I was responsible for everything.
Yeah.
Right. Growing up with this, oh, you're the golden child.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do no wrong.
Hmm.
You are perfect. You are getting the praise for doing all these things. Everybody wants you to be their
Right.
child. And so it really put me in a damper when I thought that was what I needed in order to survive.
Yeah.
And learning that I was just masking, that I was never happy. I was never um okay with neglecting myself.
Yeah.
And it took me a very, very, very long time to realize that.
Yeah.
But hey, here we are now, and
Mm-mm.
I'm glad I'm here.
And that's all that
Yeah.
matters. And,
Mhm.
and seeing you insert boundaries now have been so beneficial because I remember when we first met and I
Mm.
told you, I'm be real.
Be real, baby.
I had told you like, no, you can really be my man because you don't
Mm.
know how to set boundaries. And that was just me being sassy in my own way, but not really in depthly knowing if he had the capacity to set boundaries. I was just going off of probably 2 minute interaction of what
Yeah.
I saw and was just like, mm-mm.
Yeah, and I didn't. I didn't. I don't want anybody to feel bad. I
Yeah.
want to be the savior. I want to do all these things, and at the end of the day, it meant me no good.
Yeah.
I was unhappy with myself, and I let people walk over me.
Yeah. And I was just like experiencing men coming into my life and being crash out kings.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you ain't about to keep coming into my life fucking it up. Like they is bound just because I love you don't mean I got to tolerate everything that you throw my way. Like
Mm,
that is not my responsibility to love you through all the things. Like
yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
was just like, hell no, I'm not in a point of letting somebody who ain't got boundaries make me feel bad about my
Right,
boundaries.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like naming these schemas, right? It kind of helps me hold myself accountable,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and not take things personal, be able to accept myself for who I am and not be ashamed anymore. And you do a very great job of letting me just be myself
Yeah.
without reprimand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just hard to tell you. Now, what you do on your own for you,
Yeah.
that's on your business. So you be whoever you want to be. But when the shit that you do impacts me and make me
Absolutely.
feel so much, that's when I have to be like, ah, ta ta. Because ultimately you can't change anybody. And when you in a relationship, a marriage, you want to see that person, no mask, no, you want to just know what you're getting invested in so you can
Hmm.
know how to handle it. But also that reassurance feeling of, oh, that's who you are. That's what you're struggling with. Okay.
I got you.
I got you. How can I support?
Yeah.
Not how can I take on? And I think that was one of my biggest piece with trying to be a ride or die or
Hmm.
like
Come on.
be okay, be down for a nigga. But now it's about I can support. I can let you have the room and the space to be able to go through whatever you're going through and still let you know I'm here.
That's right. And support looks different for
Mm-hmm.
everybody now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So before we get to the tools, let me show some love to my brotherhood. Iota, Theta, Upsilon Fraternity,
Woo, woo, woo.
Incorporated. So let me tell y'all this. Do you have what it takes to become a general? You think so? Well, let us find out. Make sure you log on, hit www.generalsofitu.com. Go ahead, hit us up, and we'll be in contact.
Because the general's in the
And we
building.
in the building, baby.
Okay.
So now let's give y'all some tools that you can start using today. Go ahead, baby. Educate them.
Okay. So let's teach you how to realize when a boundary is needed.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take y'all back to a personal time where when you're in relations with different people and energies,
Mm.
if you find yourself constantly exhausted by your interactions with particular people, whether that are friendships, at work,
Mm.
and even the nigga that you laying with at home, right?
Mm.
When these three things are constantly draining and making you feel low, angry, sad, you might want to question if there's a boundary that could be placed there to lighten those reoccurring feelings that keep
Mm.
coming up for you.
Right.
And so, one of the things that I had to feel was if I tell someone, I don't like what you're saying to me or how you're saying it, that's a boundary. It's not never what you say, it's how you
You say
say
it.
it. So if I feel like the way you telling me is respectful or belittling,
Right.
I can tell you, hey, my boundary is we talked about that. I really don't like when you call me nappy headed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or if you call me a bitch, my name is not bitch.
Right.
My name is Raquel. So
Right.
can you refrain that when we talk, you'll call me by my name, even if you trigger or if you upset. That's a boundary.
Right. And
Now,
also, what is the consequence if you do not abide by my boundary?
hmm
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
so
so,
a small one that you can start off with is simply stop the conversation right there. I always tell people where you got me fucked up is where I'm leaving you. Period. So you can so the what it looks like if you call me another bitch, I won't have nothing else to say about this conversation. It just stops right there. You allow them the opportunity to be able to choose if they're going to respect your boundary.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to use a lot of energy trying to enforce it. You just remind them, hey, we talked about this boundary, and I told you don't call me out my name. Don't call me anything other than Raquel. And because you showed me you can't, I'm going to walk away from this conversation. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and for me, with my schemes in particular, I had to learn to say things like, "I'm at capacity."
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, I love capacity.
I can't take this on right now. I deserve to take my ass to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
without thinking that I'm missing out on something. Um, and so pretty much it was just rewiring my brain to get rid of those old beliefs and come into the new things that are
Mm-hmm.
healthier and more beneficial for me.
And another one with time, right?
Mm.
I need X amount of notice before I can do this, right? Don't drop nothing on me in real time because it's dawned in your brain. That's
Mm.
not your emergency is not my urgency. So I don't have to
Ooh,
hurry
say
up.
that. Wait, hold on. Yo, what? Yo,
Emergency is
it's not
not
my
my urgency.
urgency.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because people will do it. And especially living in such a when I was working in the nonprofit sector, uh because somebody else wanted to cover their ass, it
Mm.
becomes your responsibility to hurry
Mm-mm.
up and do it. And it's like, oh,
I've been there.
absolutely not. How long had you knew about this deadline?
Right.
Why am I just the first to hear about it? Absolutely not. Not
Yeah.
stressing myself
And I
over
was stressed out. I would have 10 different things to
yeah,
do,
no.
and no sleep. And I thought that was the way that an entrepreneur is supposed to be. You have to, you know, lose sleep and work hard and grind,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, I was left behind. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, that's important when you start setting that boundary
Mm-hmm.
and you start letting people know. And then you really see who shows up for you.
Mm.
What I felt is the people who respected my boundaries have been people who are not emotionally immature with having difficult conversations or sitting in uncomfortability. They actually can say, I value this enough to respect what you got going on
Right.
or on my shit. On my shit, girl, I did do you wrong. That was so not
Right.
good of me.
And can we move forward?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
period. Favorite thing is identifying your triggers when it comes to your schemas.
Mm.
Um, yeah, because one thing you'll know is that once you get those automatic negative thoughts in your head, or you start to believe these notions about yourself, you get upset around how that makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
So you get placed in this feeling, and I give you one of mine. Okay. So this is one that people probably see me experience. I talk about often on my platform is a hater.
Ooh.
If a bitch don't like me, just how I feel
Yeah.
about it, and it's not even so people think I come in with this air or I automatically on the defense,
Mm.
but really it's like I've given you a boundary, and instead of accepting the boundary so that we can move forward, you choose to constantly show me disrespect and then get mad when I have no association to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever narrative you feel like you need to go out there and put, that's fine. But once I speak my truth,
Mm.
it has to have the same thing. So I get triggered when people put out false narratives of
Narrative.
myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then I respond with clapping back.
Right.
Don't
Right.
put me on the you put me on a pedestal to say don't be petty. I never
Right.
said I wasn't gonna be petty.
Mm.
Um, and so you just gotta recognize, because going back to childhood, people thought because you're quiet and you're nice that you can't defend yourself or you're
Mm-hmm.
helpless. And it's like, no, I'm not helpless. I often choose a different route versus always responding to negativity or
Right.
proving that I know I can beat your ass. Like, it's just not worth it.
I feel that.
For real.
So before we wrap this up, let's highlight something full of love and for our community.
So we have a special thing for you. So Love in Full Color is a community space centering Black trans men and Black trans women committed to their relationships. Join us on January 14th at 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in partnership with Derek and the
Ubuntu organization. Right. So if you are a committed couple that is interested in joining a group that is facilitated by myself, Derek, and my beautiful wife, please hit us up on the DM or follow us on our page. We'll be putting out more information about how to get in contact and join us in our Zoom meeting.
Yeah, it's gonna be important. I'm excited to see you.
Cool.
So thank y'all for listening. We're gonna recap what we talked about. We talked about boundaries and what that looks like for each individual person.
That's right.
We talked about the schemas and how some things from our childhood that's unmasked or unaddressed can come into the relationships we currently are, and how when those two things collide, oh baby, it could bring a host of problems. And so let's learn how to address boundaries and set them and hold them with consequences.
Absolutely.
And schemas, recognizing our triggers and the things that we tell ourselves, and learn how to reframe those things so we know that we're worthy of these things, and we can then recognize where they're coming from.
Absolutely. You know why? Because this season we're not shrinking.
We're not.
All right. We're just telling off the dead parts. We're not selling it. And we're not going to repeat these old patterns anymore. We are learning, we're growing, we're healing.
Show the rebirth of who you about to become.
Absolutely.
You know, do your big one.
Yeah. And for all listeners out there, we want to encourage you to figure out what your schemes is, and also set one boundary this week that's going to propel you into your better self.
Yes. So when you set that boundary, remember to have your consequence and stand on it.
Stand on it.
Stand on business.
All right. All right. Season 2 of the Mouthies. Let's get it. We're excited. Yeah, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment,
follow,
all the things, share. Yeah, do your big one and support us.
Right.
And until next time,
it's your girl, Miss Mouthy. Even when you don't see me, you hear me.
And it's your boy, Mr. Mouthy. And even when you don't hear me, you definitely see me, baby. And until next time,
stay mouthy.
Miss Mouthy in the mirror, lips glossed in gold, truth on the tongue, stories never told. Mr. Mouthy got the bass, velvet in his tone. They speak in rhythm, make the silence moan.